Hello guys, and welcome to a new Shkodder Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you game 3 of a best of 3 between Fanty and Shkodder in the quarterfinal of Season 7 of the Shkodder Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Siedlce, and on our left in the red team, playing on the Axis side, we have Shkodder using the 3rd Fallschirmjager and the balanced deployment type. And on our right in the blue, also playing on the Axis side, we have Fanty using the Fallschirm Panzer and the Maverick deployment type. So, of course, a trigger warning to many of you who hate mirror matchups. Yes, we do have an Axis versus Axis game here, but we'll see how it goes. The first two games have been absolutely brilliant between these two. Shkodder taking the first one by completely flipping it 180. It was really, really well done. With a Maverick versus Maverick matchup, managed to get the upper hand with good trades and took that game. In game 2, we had Fanty just execute his game plan, Maverick versus balanced, win before the 20-minute mark, and it's pretty much what he did. So yeah, great job. Brings it back to 1-1. So it's all to play for here. Whoever takes the victory will move on to the semi-final to play off against Gonzo, who was top seed of his group. So yeah, I don't know if you'd want to win if you know you're going up against Gonzo next, but here we are. Let's have a look at the troops going down. So Shkodder on the left, he's going to be bringing in some Fallschirmjager with the Fallschirmjager. There's also the Fallschirm Panzer, the MG42 and the Pupschen. Further down, we're going to be seeing some Scharfschütze coming in with the SDK Z251 Recon half-track. There's going to be the Fallschirmjager, SBW AB41, the Pupschen there, Fallschirmjager, MG42. Further down, we're going to be seeing two more Fallschirmjager, MG42, Fallschirm Pioneer, Fallschirmführer, and on the bottom side, it's going to be an MG42 and a Fallschirmjager. On the side of Fanty, he is going to be using two of the Göring Pioneers with MP44s early on. These are really, really nasty squads because they have really good medium range engagement, and then if you get close to them, they're just going to lob some big old HE on you, so it's really, really tough to deal with. Panzer at the start, SBW 231, Panzer and a Panzer. There's going to be a Grille with the Göring Pioneer Göring Pioneer MP41, or MP44, sorry, Göring Panzergrens, the Flammenwerfer, and the two SBW 233s. And the flamethrower for the middle, probably just to hold the front line more than anything else. Two SBWs here, one a 233, one a 231, and then there is the Pak 40 there, following up the MG42, another Pioneer with the MP44s, and the Flampanzer. On the bottom side, another Flampanzer with the Panzergren and an MG42. So is using quite a lot of these Flampanzers, which is surprising to me. He might get away with it because he is up against the 3rd Fallschirmjager. 3rd Fallschirmjager, though, will be able to bring in things like Fallschirm Panzer Abwehr. They're going to have, of course, the Pupschens. They do have a few Stugs. So, you know, those Flampanzers can be dealt with. Also, Fallschirmjagers have Panzerfaust, so it's going to be hard, I think, to get value out of these Flampanzers, well, but we'll see. BF-109 going to be coming out early on for Shkodder as Recon. Yeah, the 3rd Fallschirmjager here, just looking for strong infantry engagements, getting good value out of the Fallschirmjager, plus its support weapons like the Pupschen, and then also the SBW AB41s are going to be kind of crucial here to win those infantry engagements early on. And on the side of the Fallschirm Panzer Göring, he's going to be reliant quite heavily on these armored cars early on to make some ground. But these Göring Pioneers, I can't overstate how good these can be. Especially against like Fallschirmjagers, particularly in close range, will just clean house. And Fallschirmjager aren't cheap. You know, these squads are 40 points apiece. So Shkodder really needs to get value out of them, or he's going to be in a bit of a predicament throughout this game. So the battle of the MG42s, Shkodder's is in heavy cover, whilst Fanty's is not. So in theory, Shkodder should win this by pinning down the MG42 there. BF-109 G6 coming in early on to scare off the G8 of Shkodder. And looks like He is indeed going to pin that down. And with the continued engagement, looks like Fanty's going to lose his MG. The trouble in that engagement is if you try and retreat, we will probably lose the MG faster. So he'd just lose that regardless, I think. Unless it manages to retreat and move out of line of sight fast enough. Early engagement here, it seems as though he maybe came under fire from the MG42. But currently, positioning-wise, Fanty does have the upper hand. Which is what he needs to have. He needs to start getting tickets from his opponent as quickly as possible. But he does need a double tick as well. And so he's going to be trying to push his luck here, find another flag. Potentially on the top side, there is one there that's going to be contested shortly. Currently, though, these two are the ones being held by Fanty, which are giving him an advantage. He might be able to grab this one shortly as well. Going to be moving forwards the Panzer in the light cover. This is okay, but it has 160 meter range, right? And these Fallschirmjager with a Panzerfaust have 120 meter range. So you've got 40 meters to work with, which in Star Division 2 is not a lot of range. If you get that slight bit too close, drive forwards just that little bit too much, Panzerfaust's going to go off. You're going to lose your armoured vehicle pretty damn quick. So, Flammenwerfer here, getting pretty close to the church. Not in range to flame the church just yet, but with a little bit of smoke, this flamethrower might be able to take care of that MG42 once and for all. Two of the SBW233s here just putting shots into the MG42 there. That was rough. It went down from 4 to 1 man all in one go. Well, just taking cover behind the church there. Sorry about the camera work there for a little second. It did jump about. Grilla going to be trying to engage at range. Get some shots onto the Stug. Look at that, it's got his gun the whole way up there to try and get that shot on target. But MG's now dealt with. Panzergren's actually jumping into the church themselves. That HE certainly helping out, but look at the Panzertrek. It's just come through here and cleaned house. Takes out the flamethrower truck. Takes out both of the... Oh, sorry, just the two SBW231 there. Yeah, nothing that the flame or the Flampanzer can do against the Panzertrek, because the Panzertrek has longer range than it. It's got the 250 meter range, so yeah, it's real tough. Stug here, trying to hold the open ground, but the Grilla just kind of moving back and continuing to put HE down range. Eventually the Stug will die. With each HE round that lands on target, the Stug's going to be losing like 1 or 2 health. So a Stug has 10 health, so enough shots land on target, it is going to die. Looks like Fanty's going to opt to bring in a Panzer IV, but has managed to find the 15th flag. That is going to be this one right here. Starting the double tick already. 13 minutes on the clock for Shkodder. So I'm surprised to see Shkodder go for another like balanced after it didn't really work out so well last time around, but maybe that's just kind of his playstyle. There was, I think last season, season 6, there was a huge sort of emphasis on balanced deployment type, and it became quite dominant in the meta. I'm not currently sure what really dominates at the moment, but so far we've seen Maverick be pretty dominant, with both of the players taking it in the first game and then in the second game it winning over the balance. So yeah, we'll see what happens this time around. But so far, things aren't looking too great for Shkodder. He does have the LG in position, which is going to allow him to engage some of these troops, but he's going to have to find a way to spot them. He's going to have to get some recon in here at close range to spot them, or advance some infantry to force them to reveal themselves. SBW-AB41 does manage to kill the Flampanzer down here. Doesn't particularly want to engage the 233 at close range, because these things can one-shot most vehicles with the heat round. That 8 damage against light vehicles, definitely more than enough. Flammenwerfer getting unloaded in the open. It's going to have to smoke itself. The Shkodder are there, otherwise it's going to take it out. But the Shkodder 42 shooter knocked currently, not able to fire back. 233s just taking pot shots. Also driver kill here. That might also stop it from firing because it might not have like enough gun depression. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. Having a hard time right now though. Ooh, nice kill from the Shkodder. Does take out the Greeter. T-34 also taking shots, and the Panzer IV there. Yeah, that Shkodder 42 in a nice position if the enemy were at the backside of the town, but since they're quite far up, it's kind of difficult to get good value out of that Shkodder up there. He'd be better off having it back here with the LG and firing into these buildings. So SPW AB-41's on the way. Looks like they're going to come and try and back up this engagement. I think Shkodder, he just needs to kind of hold his ground best he can. And the medium range engagement. Pioneers there getting caught by the Hammergunning Pioneers. A leader on this top side would do wonders to get good value out of those. Or the Flammenwerfer. It's going to smoke itself again. I'm not sure why he thinks he needs to keep that there. Kind of weird. Because he already has good influence over this. It's not being contested, so having the Flammenwerfer there in the open is kind of pointless. Although he does manage to get the kill onto the sniper because of that, so maybe it was a good trade. The snipers are in limited supply, like the Shkodder, there's only going to be like a few of those. So maybe it limits Shkodder's recon capabilities, and that's actually pretty much a win. BF-109 coming in with those rockets. Not a fan of the BR-21. I feel like the rockets can be unreliable at the best of times. But the Hammergunning Pioneers here getting overwhelmed by infantry. These Fallschirm Pioneers, they've got the FG-42, Kar-98 and an MG-34. So they are just as scary at close range, or at a sort of like medium range, sorry, than like Panzer guns and the MP-44 Pioneers are. And really is getting the better of this infantry on the top side. 11-man squad, really good firepower, getting the job done. That's what you like to see. Yeah, Shkodder here needs to just hold on. And if he can make it so that it's not a double tick, he's totally fine. Because it'll get to phase C, and he should have enough time to recover the match. But Fanty, of course, trying to make plays, trying to push forwards. Or these SPW AB-41s come around the corner there, straight into a T-34. And the SPW 233, clean in-house. Shkodder actually finds a kill onto the Kubel here, which is going to kill Fanty's recon infantry. 380mm off map is going to be on the way shortly to this location. If he can clean out the infantry, it's probably going to be a win, because then he can try and engage the armor here from range. And one thing we do need to point out is that the Fallschirm Panzer is the division that comes with the Sturmtiger. And the Sturmtiger is absolutely devastating at range, even against the heaviest of targets. So if it does get to the point where the Sturmtiger comes onto the field and it's able to, control this mid-range engagement, it's going to make things real hard for Shkodder in this game, regardless of how much of an advantage in income he has. There's also now a Tiger on the way, and there isn't too much in the way of the third Fallschirmjager that can challenge a Tiger at range. You'd have to maybe hit it with an airstrike, like a HS-129. You could maybe try and kill it with some artillery, but it's very unlikely in like a 1v1 scenario. Artillery is just generally not used in 1v1 because it doesn't find value fast enough. It's quite a slow sort of thing to use in a 1v1. Like in a balanced deck you might be able to squeeze it in, but even so, you're probably just focusing mainly on infantry availability and armor in order to contest against your enemy until you just win outright by income. Pack 40 is going to get a gun jam there onto the Shkodder 42. Nice hit. The MG42 is on return fire, so it's not actually engaging the Pack 40 at the moment. It might be engaging just a little bit too late there. The Shkodder 42 now bailed out. And the Pack 40 is now changed target. Grilla was stopping to fire briefly. Has now been fast moved up on purpose. The Pack 40, yeah, it looks like it might go down. Unless the Grilla can save the day. Oh, nice dodge there. So yeah, Pack 40 did go down. That was a bit of a mistake there, I think. Making sure you get the kill on the Shkodder 42 here, I think is pretty important. Oh, well, the 233 did the job, so never mind. And the Grilla, I guess, could have finished the job as well. BF-109 coming in with the rockets to clean up the MG42. After it traded with the MG42s on the bottom side. And Fanty now going to bring in 2 more MG42s to stay down there. Oh, Puption actually looking for the shot onto the 233. Does find the rocket shot. That was beautiful. That was a max range shot from the Puption. These things aren't that accurate at long range. Like 40% accuracy at 750 meter range. But after it fired one, the second shot hit the mark, so just coin flip really. Now off map coming down for Shkodder on the top, looking to secure this area. If he can secure this tree line, then he does get control over this flag, so that would actually be a big win for Shkodder. Fallschirmjager is now moving in to the bottom side. There isn't too much here to really contest. The Panzer will be a bit of an issue because technically it outranges the Fallschirmjager, assuming that it's micro correctly. BF-109 looking for the strafing run, not going to find it. Fallschirmjager finish off one of the half tracks down there. Things still piling in the middle though for Fanty. And we got Panzers now coming in to the light cover, but Panzerschreck is in position. Job done, easy peasy. Off map did come down, doesn't look like it really did too much damage here. Most of the units that were there did survive. And yeah, look, Panzerfaust kills the Panzer. Really not a fan of the Panzer. Like if it had 200 meter range or something, then it'd probably be decent, but since it doesn't, well, yeah. Tigery gonna pop the Stug here in the middle. That's a pretty big win actually. Taking out that Stug means that a lot of this lighter armor is just completely free now to push all over the place. There's also the Fallschirmjager going down there. 233 actually sniped that before it unloaded, so that's really rough. LG, however, able to take out the 231. Things are going to get very difficult very soon. We're into phase B, so the Maverick deployment type really coming into its own. Can the Puption kill the Pioneer here? It's not aiming fast enough. So the Pioneer's unloaded. Pushing up onto this hill. There is 3 flags here that could very quickly go in favour of Fanty. He's got to hold on to this double tick if he wants to win. Nice 88 brought in there from Shkodder. Helps control the open range engagement here. Also stops that plane from doing its job. But it's the 2v1. And that's a very dead Fallschirmjager, as both of those managed to get off their HE grenades. This one probably not going to have as great a time as these ones on the hill. Yeah, the Hermann Göring Begleitgrenz now coming in and taking control of the flag further up. So the open ground being completely dominated here by Fanty in the centre of the map. And that's what you'd expect in this kind of matchup. The Fallschirmjager, of course, generally pretty good at the close range engagement, and on this top side these Fallschirm Pioneers did really well, but Shkodder hasn't actually like reinforced this top side since the start of the match, so not with any significant infantry, whilst Fanty has been, and so he's slowly whittling down the troops that Shkodder has left here. and that stopped Shkodder from gaining control over that flag, which is, again, pretty important for Fanty at this point in the game. 6 minutes, 45 seconds left on the clock. Stug is going to find shots onto the Grille on the bottom side. Taking out these Grille is actually really important, because those Grille are going to be really good for killing things like these 88s. Once the 88 is the only thing left, there aren't many vehicles on the side of the Göring that can take care of like an 88 other than the Sturmtiger. And we haven't seen a Sturmtiger be brought in yet. I don't even know if he has it on the deck. But the Bf-109 here coming in with a rocket strike and the strafing run from the Bf-109 G6. G6 is not really very good at using strafing runs or being used as a strafing aircraft because it only has one 20mm. The G6 R6 is much better because it does have those two 20mm under the wings, but yeah, that one does not. Fallschirmjager in the open, engaging those Göring pioneers, doing pretty well. Double MG34 with the FG42. Great advantage at range, but the SBW-233 is going to be able to really clean up those Fallschirmjagers nice and easy. Yeah, this is really rough for Shkodder at the moment. Trying to get these Panzers into position to take out the enemy armor, and has done pretty well with things like the Panzers, killing those with the Panzerschrecks, but it seems like he's just not getting the value that he needs out of these longer range engagements with the Fallschirmjagers. Like, again, all of these Fallschirmjagers are worth 40 points, whilst like a Panzergren here is worth 30 points. I think the Pioneers with MP44s were 30 points or 35 points, and these are 25 points, like these Göring Pioneers. So if he's trading like a Göring Pioneer with a Fallschirm Pioneer, you know, it's not good. Ju-88 does come in with the bombs. Not a fan of the 50kg bombs. I feel like they're very weak. You can see there, barely did any damage, only pinned down one of the squads. Not really going to be very helpful. But, you know, Shkodder finds a few kills with these Stugs. He could turn things around. Tiger does get the penetration onto the Stug with the first shot. These Tigers on the Göring are forced to be brought in with the 2-star veterancy, and you can see that is paying off here, as they are able to get their shots on target. Oh, this is not good for the Stug, the Jagdpanzer with the 130mm of armor. Really rough. And you can see here that because of the efficient shot, the Stug wasn't even firing back. I don't tend to have the efficient shot on by default. It seems like Shkodder does. It just means that in situations like that, you just sat out in the open, not firing. Tiger makes short work of the LG in the open. Ju-88 coming in again. I guess this is the second one. Does have the 10 50kg bombs. Fallschirmjagers looking to kill off the Begleits. Bombing strike finishes the job. It is going to give a flag back. Slows the game down to a single tick. So 6 minutes for Shkodder to work with. So we have just moved into phase C. So now Fanty is going to want to use the rest of the income that he had left from his Maverick phase B to finish the job here. He's got to secure the ground, maintain the double tick. If he loses too many troops, like that Tiger going down, for example, things could very quickly completely swing in the opposite direction, as Shkodder will have way more income for the rest of the game. But Tiger there taking care of a Stug. Fallschirmjager, they did manage to clean up the two Pioneers that are up on the hill here. But it seems as though this flag's being captured again on the bottom side. The Fallschirmjager is just not healthy enough to challenge that. The Fallschirm Pioneer might be able to stop the Begleitgrens, but the Begleitgrens are pretty strong in themselves. They do have an MG42 within the 300 meter range. They can open up with their MB44s as well, which can put a lot of DPS down. HS129B3 has been invested upon. This is the Duck with the big 75mm gun. Unfortunately, too much in the way of AA, Gepards, and the 88 there. Stug did kill the unit up in front there, the Guila, but with the Stug being bailed out, the F109 actually manages to get the kill onto the Stug and also shoot down the Duck. The HS129 is gone. What a lovely strike there from the BF109. I was saying I don't like the BR21s. I still don't like them. Even if that was an awesome display from the BF109 G6 BR21. Panzer once again having a whale of a time in the light cover, killing these vehicles. 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes. It's just going backwards and forwards. Any way you put it, Shkodder doesn't have a lot of time left on his hands. Fanty's managed to hold the 15 plus flags for long enough, I feel, for him to secure this game. But is trying his best to push through here and make some ground back, but with the Panzergrens coming in next to the Pupschen, well, that Pupschen is going to go down. The flag's going to remain in the hands of Fanty. On the bottom side, yeah, his big light Grens have taken a reasonable amount of damage here, but he's not going to be able to take back that flag anytime soon. And I think as long as Fanty just continues to suicide onto these flags for the next 30 seconds, he can very easily win the day. And his BF109 now just freely strafing. BF109 G6 coming down on those Fallschirmjager. And he's just got to keep throwing everything he's got at the flags for the time being. Like, even with a 1 tick now, it'd still be like another 30 seconds till he wins. There we go, 10 seconds left on the clock. 16-8. It looks like Fanty's going to take the cake. And nicely done indeed. Again, great execution with the Maverick deployment type. Wins in 23 minutes, 37 seconds. It was getting close there. You could see that Fanty was getting a little bit light on the ground. Another couple minutes, another few minutes, things might have turned around, but that's the beauty of these players, is they know how to take it to the edge, and Fanty does just that in order to get the win, again with a negative kill-death ratio. 2,255 kills to 2,060 losses for Shkodder, and vice versa, of course, for Fanty. So yeah, Fanty starting to lose quite a lot of troops there, but it didn't matter in the end. I think in general, Shkodder in the light cover did a good job with these Panzer. Killing off these light vehicles is super important to make sure they don't get value against your infantry. Like the Fallschirmjagers, and like a Fallschirmjager is 40 points. So if an SBW 231 kills a Fallschirmjager squad, it's basically paid itself off. So you want to stop it from doing that in the first place, and that's exactly what the Panzer are there for. Stopping the Flampanzers from getting any value is really important. In this matchup, I feel like the Flampanzers are a complete waste. Like in a matchup where you're up against infantry that doesn't have much AT, then you're okay. But in this case, the infantry on the third, Fallschirmjager, are just full of AT. So I think the Flampanzers were a bit of a waste of points, honestly. When he could have just been investing it in more infantry or more of the recon vehicles, maybe. Other than that, I mean, there wasn't anything too exciting going on. I mean, for the side of Shkodder, his Stugs were getting a few kills here and there, but nothing really like stood out too much. Now the 88 on the bottom side was a really good pickup though. That worked out quite nicely. Killed one of the BF109s and killed the Tiger there, so that was definitely worth it. And again, another Panzer doing the job. Otherwise, if we go over to the losses in the open, things worked out really, really well for Fanty. And this Tiger managed to kill 2 of those Stugs. We've got the SBW 233 actually managed to claim a Stug 42 kill, which is pretty big, especially considering these are quite cheap. It looks like some of these Panzergrens managed to get some kills, but yeah, the infantry engagements were like 100% going in favor of Shkodder, but it didn't matter in the open, right? So Yeah, I think Fanty does a great job of focusing where he knows he can get flags with his division. And he's done it in this game, and he did it in the last game. And yeah, it's worked out nicely. Congratulations to Fanty. Takes the series 2-1. Commiserations to Shkodder. Gets knocked out early on. But Fanty's going to be moving on to face off against Gonzo in the quarterfinals. He was ranked top of his group. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But we do have, of course, the other quarterfinal to do first, which is going to be Herr Robert versus Under the Sea. Look forward to that. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.